Hey, all my scrappy friends. I am doing a little bit of a mishmash because I just really unfortunately haven't had a ton of time to scrapbook. But I am really trying to stay on top of some current stories and do some really simple spreads. And that is what you're going to see today. A lot of these are mainly done in Photoshop digitally. As you know, I am almost a complete digital scrapbooker at this point. Until Allie starts just like selling all of her embellishments on the side. I wish one day I could just get the embellishments. My life would be complete. All right, so here we are. I am doing a story about my 15-year-old doing his college orientation. I know that's crazy, but he is heading into an early college program next year as a junior, kind of like a dual enrollment, but actually he will go to high school for 5 years instead of 4 and walk out with an associate's degree on the school pretty much. So so he was accepted into the local college here. It isn't a community college. It is a I don't know, maybe they do consider a community college, but it is a sub-school of the University of Michigan. I actually graduated from this school, so it was pretty crazy to go walk the halls with him, as he was about 18 months old when I graduated college. So it was pretty sentimental, I guess. But it's kind of crazy that we're doing this so early. It was a whole experience. So he actually will not be going to the actual school for at least a year. The professors actually come to their high school and teach them. So that's amazing, because I was very afraid of my 15-year-old going to a college campus. Anyways, so here I am. I used a 3x4 card and stretched my canvas into 4x8.25. I could have used a little bit of extra room. I should have probably made this 5 at least, maybe 4.5. And as you can see, I was struggling a bit there to get it in. It does end up going in, but I could have used a little bit more room. But I did want to save his little admission paper. He also got an email of it, which I could have just used that. I didn't think about that until later and remembered that he got an email of the same exact thing. But it is what it is. And then I could have resized it and it would have fit perfectly. Again, very simple though. I just did that. And then you are actually going to see this 3x4 card that I did the journaling. I am just going to use a part of a already cut up, you'll see me go through here in a minute, already cut up page protector, and use the last of it pretty much. The little, I have a couple of page protectors that have like the 3x4 on top and then the little 2x3 ones at the bottom. And that was what I'm going to use to go on the back. But this is obviously from the awesome story kit. I've actually used the story kit quite a lot. I did change the color of this. I couldn't get the blue that I wanted, but close enough. I was trying to get that Michigan blue. Just couldn't. Used a whole page over here, full page photo, and use the awesome stamp just to do awesome in the sky, pretty much, just to add a little bit. But honestly, I don't even think I use an embellishment. I was going to use the yellow pendant, because I actually do have this kit in digital and in physical. It's one of the only couple of kits that I do have in physical. You see me, I have no idea why I struggled with this page protector, but here it is. This is that page protector that I was talking about. I have no idea why I struggled with it, but I get it. Anyways, what was I saying now? Oh, the yellow pendant of the Awesome Kit. If I do find story kits that are pretty cheap, I will buy them off of like the buy sell site to get the embellishments. But yeah, I just wish that Allie would just let me buy the embellishments and not the journaling cards. That would be like, that would make my day. Anyways, and then use that as a pocket on the back because I really didn't have anything to go on the back of this. But I did print that blue for the front and back. So I was like, oh, well, I can just put that on the back. And that will work. I didn't want, there's several times in here that I have done, like cut the edge and slip the card in there. I've done that a couple of times, so I just figured this was perfect. Did use that red line tape in order to make sure that it stays, so that hopefully it doesn't pop off of there, but it was pretty secure when I put that down. And then honestly, that 3x4 does not move at all, pretty much. I've flipped through this album a couple of times in the past couple of days, and it doesn't move hardly at all. So all right, slipping that right in there fits perfectly, and I'll keep my journaling in there. It's a little bit personal, but this will be going into his album. I am right now working in both kids' albums and a family album. I have pretty much abandoned project life in my 9x12. Yeah, I can't keep up with it. Like as much as I want to, I feel like giving the boys each an album and working in those just fits us a little bit better. And then when we have family stories, I do put it in a family album. So next year, definitely I'll just be doing a family album, I believe. And then for the rest of this year, more project life based, I think sometimes, but also very much story based. So, all right, put that together and yay, I've done a story from May of this year. So last year I, really was focusing on a lot of getting backstories done that I didn't get stories of that year done. And I told myself that I was really going to try and keep up with the stories current. So this one, and I believe a couple of ones coming up, are also very easy, done digitally and completely scrap lifted. I have seen this one on Pinterest several times and had no idea that I had the card in my stash. In my digital stash. That is sometimes one bad thing about doing a digital stash, is like you just come upon things and I'm like, oh my gosh, I do have that card. So this was a very simple, blew this 3x4 card up to the 7 by 8.25, and then just moved it over a little bit for the holes. So I will definitely post the Pinterest pin link that I found this from, but sometimes I do not mind. If I love something so much, I will scrap lift it and get a story written. So I got a story written, I think for 2022 out of this. Easy peasy. And yeah, I mean, as long as you give credit, I feel like, to the creator of it, you know what? That's what they put it out there for, is to inspire people, right? And I loved this one. I've had this on my Pinterest board for so long and just never thought that I had the card, and I was going to download the font and do it, but didn't even have to, right? I do believe this was in a 2017 Stories by the Month kit, so I believe that's what that one was. So done. Next, another super easy one. As you can see, I just printed a picture printed this picture, and then used the Beautiful Day stamp, and just decreased the opacity. And then I wrote my little story right below it, and bam, done. I didn't even have to do anything. I was going to add an embellishment, but honestly, I was just like, I don't even think it needs it. So, done. Moving on. So some of the times I do work a lot more in Photoshop than I do at my table. And that's okay for me because sometimes I don't have all of the time to scrapbook, but I do have time to sit at my computer and knock a couple spreads out while I'm waiting for other things to like work itself out in my during my workday. So all right, next is oh, it looks like I have a puppy on my lap in this one. This is another scrap lift, though. Again, I'm not sure where I got these, but I will link every one of them below. I've pinned them all or saved them along the way. This is obviously from currently another scrap story or another story kit that honestly I think you could use 1.5 million times and never get sick of it, right? But this was a little story about finding an open can of apple pie filling all of the time in my fridge, and just a little story about my youngest eating habits and kind of what we're going through with him, and just a little silly story about him. So easy. Again, I did just add a little strip of a pattern paper off of a card, again, digitally done. I will print out my pictures to not automatically print it on the paper like you've seen there, just so that I can use some stamps and give it a little bit more dimension and do a little bit of scrapbooking. So a lot done in Photoshop, but also still using my stamps, still giving it a little bit of dimension, all that kind of stuff. I am going to add this. I forgot that I did have the currently, sometimes you can order the chipboards and stuff separately. And I did remember that I did have this chipboard set. So I went through and it was all falling out. So here I am putting it all back together. Not sure why I didn't cut that out. Sorry, guys. And use the current observations. So trying to find those little stories and just pop them into my kids' story albums so that they have those little stories, because I think that when I would love to go back and look at those stories. So another story of my youngest. So I think I did one story of my oldest and 2 stories of my youngest, and then a story in our family album of just our day. So this is using that Now. I think it's the Now. Yeah, it's a pretty new one, right? Now story kit. This was just a 3x4 or 3. What is this? A 4? Maybe it's the 3.85 paper by 8.25s that come in the kit. And I just printed that out just like that. Nothing big, just like you would get it in your kit. And then because I had that story on the other side of it, so I knew I needed a back side of that, and then just used a full picture of my little guy from, I believe, February. I think the story is in February. Yeah, it looks like there's snow on the ground out there in that picture of his outfit. He loves to be bright, and so that's one of his favorite outfits. And again, just a simple story. Not that many words. I did write this one because I could not get my font right on these ones in Photoshop. So I couldn't get like the boxes. So I will promise you though, my next video will have more tutorials from Photoshop in them. I know a lot of people have been asking about that. I've been just trying to figure out a way to record my screen easier as I'm running a Windows. I don't have a Mac. I know it's pretty easy on a Mac, but I'm just trying to figure out the right program for it. So if you know one for Windows, let me know. But that's free also. Putting a date stamp on this and calling it good. Oh, looks like I had forgot the date stamp on this one, so I was going back to figure out what that date was too. And putting it there. I am kind of particular about my date stamps. I'm a very chronicle scrapbooker. So, all right, and putting his away in his album. Oh, nope. I am showing you how I as I go through these stories, I am connecting the stories together. So I knew this one needed a back to a full page photo. So that is why I chose to do a full page photo pretty much for this one. So I am trying to round out their months and wrap up the months in their albums as I go through 2023 on at least at this time. So sorry for my head, guys, and the sunglasses, but got to get close on those. And I'm trying to figure out, like, this is not, I shouldn't have punched the holes. I do forget that, like, stop punching the holes before, because then that doesn't line up and then you have to repunch holes, but it's okay. I am just using score tape when I have big sections like this. I do use just score tape as it is a lot cheaper. And yeah, and you will, and if you've been watching for any time, you know I am a sucker for large photos too. So it was probably a given that I have that large photo, but there it is. I love seeing their albums coming together. I think our family album has now been broken up into two. So not that either one of them is complete, but one was getting super full as I have done a lot of 2018. And yeah, it was just all right. So this is going to wrap up this very simple stories process video. Don't be afraid to do the simple ones, even if it is digitally, because at least you got the story down. And I was very happy with getting a lot of these stories down and in their albums. So thank you guys so much for being here and giving me a watch. And I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. I would love it. Bye.